Well, hello there my friends, welcome back to the Scott Reed Project. Now today, like the title says, we are going to be doing Venison Osso Buco. Now Osso Buco, it's a traditional Milanese dish, normally done with veal shanks, but of course I am using this wonderful venison shanks. Now this is off the fallow deer I cut up. If you haven't seen the video, I will put the link in the description. Osso buco, roughly translate in Italian, is bone with a hole. So osso is the bone and buco is the hole when obviously that beautiful marrow melts away. Now you could also do this dish with pork, and I really can't see why you cannot do it really with lamb shanks. Anywho, I'll just give you a quick spin round of the ingredients. I've got these lovely venison shanks, which I've cut into 3. I've got some beautiful dry white wine. I've got some garlic cloves there, 3. A bit of tomato puree. A lovely good quality tin of chopped tomatoes. There's about 500 ml of chicken stock. I've got some oil there to brown off our meat. And then as you can see on here, I've got carrot, celery. You can use sliced onions or shallots. I'm going to use these lovely baby onions, keep them whole. And I got some bay leaves, and we're going to add some seasoning, maybe some thyme as we go along. But the first thing we need to do then is dredge this lovely venison and get it browning off. So very, very simply, in a carrier bag, I'm going to put a bit of flour, and because I can, a bit of mustard powder, and we're just going to get some salt in there. I know it looks a lot, and then of course some pepper. We give that a quick mix, and then simple as, get your venison shank in. You want to trap a bit of air in, spin it round, and then just give it a quick fettle. And they should all be lovingly coated in that beautiful coating, as you can see there. So just shake off the excess. Very simple. I mean, I know it looks a lot of ingredients, but it is a very simple dish. Right, over to the stove, and we will brown them off. So we got a lovely cast iron pot on the stove top. I'm going to add a bit of oil, and we want to get that nice and hot. And just for an extra bit of flavour, we will put in just a bit of butter. So when that oil gets nice and hot then, we place in our pieces of shank. Now I took these out of the fridge an hour before I cooked them, because you don't want to be taking the temperature out of this pan. So I've only got 6 pieces, so that will just tick over nicely, and we want to get a really good caramelization on those. Okay, so you want to be getting a nice dark brown caramelization on it. Can you see that? It's beautiful. So I'm just going to flip that over. Obviously some of these pieces, the end of the shank, you won't be able to flip over, but we are going to just put them on their sides and brown them out on their sides as well. Just quickly turning it over. Lovely. Oh, lovely. So while they're ticking over nicely then, I'm just going to get a bit of colour on my baby onions. Like I said, by all means, use shallots or sliced onions. But I just like the thought of having a whole baby onion. Lovely. So just flipping them over, trying to get an even caramelisation on them. Starting to look good. And of course all that bone, all that marrow will impart some serious flavour. So once you've got a nice caramelisation on your shanks, take out the meat, take out your onions, Now all that beautiful caramelised meat pieces now in the bottom of that dish is flavour. So what I'm going to do is just tip a little bit of that oil off, and then into my pan, my celery and my carrot. Now I've got like one big decent carrot there, and I've just the same amount of celery. It was about 1.5 sticks. Now you can do them in big chunks, you can do them finer than this if you want to, but I just think this is ideal, you know. Now just turn the heat down, and we just want this just to gently soften. So seasoning things up as we go along, so we get a bit of pepper in there and some nice sea salt, building up those layers of flavour, and we'll be able to scrape up all these lovely bits of venison goodness that is hiding in the bottom. So as they are starting to soften gently, I'm going to squeeze in some squashed garlic or minced garlic, whatever. We get that in. Cheating. Obviously we don't want to burn that garlic, but as soon as that hits the pan, the smell is absolutely fantastic. A good tablespoon of tomato puree, we'll get that in there and we'll mix that in, start cooking that out. So once your tomato puree is cooked out, add a good glass, depending on how much meat you've got, of a decent dry white wine, and I'm going to just turn the heat up a little bit just to cook off the alcohol, and we're left with just the beautiful fruitiness of the wine, the finest wine. So as you can see then, the lid is off, that's going really well. So we just want to take that down and reduce it by about 1/3 till it thickens up. Won't take very long at all. So if you look as I push this away, you can see the bottom of that dish is now clean as a whistle. So all those beautiful caramelized meat pieces, as you can see there, have been incorporated into that sauce, which will give it a beautiful depth of flavour, beautiful body. It almost sounds like I know what I'm doing. That's reducing down. I think that is about ready actually. Look how nice and thick that is. So a decent tin of chopped tomatoes, get that in. Just let it get to know each other. Again, just another little seasoning of pepper and salt. Give that a taste. Get the rest of that tomato off there. Lovely and thick, look at that. Oh, that's gorgeous. That really, really is fantastic. Maybe just a pinch more salt. Okay then, for my next trick, we will nestle our pieces of shank back in. Simple as. And then our onions go in. And then we'll just top it up to just cover in with our chicken stock. And we'll give that a good mix up. Beautiful. Islands of venison in a sea of tomatoey goodness. So once all that's fallen in love with each other, we're going to get it in the oven. I've got my oven set to gas Mark 3. The conversion will be up there. We'll put the lid in, put it in the oven. We'll check it after an hour, maybe turn the pieces round, and then give it another hour, check it again. If it's nice and tender, we'll serve it. If not, we'll just put it back in. But you want to get it so the meat is tender but not falling off the bone. You know, you want that bone on your plate. It's all part of the dish. So just before we say night night to this beautiful dish, we'll get in our bay leaves. I'm just cracking them a bit to release their natural oils. Then I'm just going to put in, not too much, a little bit of thyme. Obviously, if you want to use fresh thyme, you can also put a bit of rosemary in, whatever you like. Sorted. And try and get it all over your cooker if you can. So while we're waiting for the Osso Buco to just finish off, and I've just tried it and it is something else, we're going to make the traditional accompaniment, which is Gremolata. Very simple, some parsley, garlic and lemon. All you do is chop your parsley fine to start with, just to start it off, just like that. And then you mince 1 clove of garlic, put that on top, just like that. And then you can use a microplane just to the zest of a lemon. And this fresh, punchy accompaniment is put on top, cuts through the richness. It's a classic. Now, Osso Buco, normally served with a saffron risotto, or you can use orzo pasta or old school mashed potato. Right, all you do then is really give that a good mix now. Mix it through till it's nice and fine. Now, you could do this in a blender, a processor if you want to, but I think this, you get a better finish by hand. Might add a bit more lemon zest to that, just to give it another kick up the backside. And that is it, your Gremolata ready to accompany the Osso Buco. Okay, the moment of truth. So, after 2 hours, it will look a little something like this. It's so rich, unctuous, absolutely fantastic. How do I know? Well, we started off with 6 pieces. There's only 5 left. Right, let's dish it up. Just a bit of mashed potato. Make a bit of a wow. A couple of pieces of this wonderful. I'm going to get one of those end pieces as well. Wonderful venison shank. And then, of course, some of that wonderful sauce with those veggies. Just soak the meat. And then an onion. And then finish with the Gremolata. And there you have it, my Venison Osso Buco with Gremolata and mashed potato. Hey, how good does that look? Let's tuck into it. I am so looking forward to this. Look at the meat. Get some of that mash, some of that Gremolata. Just look at these shanks. If I can move that out the way. With the back of a fork, you can mash it up. Oh, that sauce. It's gorgeous. And the best bit, just look at that bone marrow. The flavour of that, it's just hardcore. Look at me eating it off a knife. What is wrong with me? Well, my friends, that was my Venison Osso Buco, and what a dish that is. It's just absolutely superb, especially with winter coming, you know, it's warming, it's rich, it's unctuous, it's comforting, it's goddamn sexy. Anyway, if you've enjoyed what you've seen here today on the SRP, the Scott Ree Project, please click subscribe if you haven't already when my face comes up down here. Also, find me on my social media on Facebook, 2 pages, Scott Ree and the Scott Ree Project. Get on there, click like or follow. Also on my Twitter, at the Scott Ree Project. And if you want to share the love, please do check out my Patreon page. If you want to make a donation so we can continue making this beautiful free content, then please do. If you don't, it's not a problem. So until next time, I mean, this is going to take some beating, quite literally. I mean, look at me with my fingers. It's just absolutely fantastic. All the best. Take care.